What does a normal workday look like? Well, that depends entirely on where you are. In one country, the morning starts with music drifting through the streets, people chatting over sweet coffee, and no one rushing too much. Smiles are part of the routine. Time feels flexible. There's space for life even at work. In another country, the day begins with quiet precision. Alarms ring at the same time every morning. Trains arrive to the minute. Meetings start exactly when they should. And emotions? Best kept out of the workplace. Glow showing Europe Africa today. We're traveling to two very different corners of the world, Brazil, and Germany, to see how culture shapes not just how people work, but how they live. Brazil, work is often intertwined with emotion, connection, and spontaneity. Offices are social spaces. Deadlines matter, but so does dancing through the day with a bit of joy. Even during stressful moments, there's often room for laughter and warmth. Germany, work is a focused activity. There's a clear boundary between personal and professional life. Rules and routines are respected, and productivity is king. But don't mistake that for coldness. There's pride in being efficient and comfort in knowing the system works. So, one culture embraces freedom, flow, and feeling. The other leans into structure, clarity, and control. But here's the real question. Which one actually leads to a better life? Film projector in this video. We'll spend a day in each country, from the first sip of morning coffee to the final hours of the evening, to experience what it really feels like to live and work there. And by the end, you might be surprised. Maybe comfort isn't where you expect it to be. So stick around and let us know. Speech balloon: would you rather work with freedom in Brazil or with precision in Germany? Your answer might change after what you see. Morning. In Brazil, mornings don't begin with a sense of urgency, they begin with feeling. Most people wake up around 7 or 8 a.m., but there's no intense rush to get out the door. The first moments of the day are for grounding, for enjoying. Maybe it's a quick stretch on the balcony, maybe some samba playing quietly in the background, or maybe just silence and the smell of strong coffee. There's a ritualistic calm in those early hours, a moment to feel human before entering the buzz of the day. And yes, coffee is non-negotiable. A small, intense cafezinho is the heart of the Brazilian morning. Sometimes paired with pão de queijo, warm, cheesy bread rolls that make even an early alarm feel okay. Some enjoy tropical fruits like papaya or mango alongside toasted bread and butter, or perhaps a bowl of acai with granola. The flavors are vibrant and comforting, like Brazil itself. The energy is calm, almost casual. People take their time. And while they might scroll through news or messages, there's no pressure to be switched on the moment they wake up. Children prepare for school, parents glance at their calendars, but the atmosphere remains warm and grounded. In big cities like Sao Paulo or Rio de Janeiro, the streets slowly come alive, with music, conversation, and color. Street vendors start preparing their carts, early joggers fill the parks, and cafes open their shutters to welcome the day. The smell of fresh pão na chapa, grilled bread with butter, wafts from street corners. Even on weekdays, Brazil doesn't lose its rhythm, it simply shifts gears. Oncoming bus commute. Getting to work in Brazil is often an adventure. Many rely on buses, metro lines, or motorcycles to get around, especially in the sprawling urban landscapes. Commutes can take anywhere from 30 minutes to over an hour, especially with the infamous Brazilian traffic. But here's the twist. People don't just survive the commute, they make the most of it. Some listen to lively playlists, others dive into WhatsApp chats with family and friends, and many simply look out the window and take in the city's pulse. Sometimes people even strike up casual conversations with strangers, a brief connection that makes the ride a little lighter. Others use the time for practical needs, catching up on news, checking social media, or finishing that last-minute presentation slide on their phones. Students review notes, shopkeepers make voice messages to suppliers, and freelancers reply to clients. The vibe? Not, ugh, I'm late, but I'm moving, I'm living. Commuting is less about the destination and more about being part of the movement of the city. Adult briefcase: start of the workday. Most workplaces open their doors between 9 and 10 a.m., but few Brazilian offices run on strict clocks. If someone walks in 10 or even 15 minutes late, no big deal. What matters more is the attitude they bring, and whether they show up with energy and willingness to contribute. Workspaces vary from modern corporate buildings and open-plan tech hubs to cozy, family-run offices. But almost everywhere, you'll find a human warmth. Colleagues greet each other with genuine smiles, sometimes even hugs. There's light chatter, someone offers to make a fresh coffee, and before long, the day slowly begins. The culture here is social. Interaction is natural, even necessary. You don't just sit down and isolate. You participate, you laugh, you connect. Conversations move between personal and professional topics with ease. Birthdays are celebrated with cake and singing in the office. Achievements are shared with applause. There's a sense of community, not competition. Meetings happen, yes, but they're often informal and infused with personality. Titles exist, but hierarchies aren't always stiff. A manager might joke with the team or ask how your weekend was before diving into tasks. It's not unusual for the first few minutes of a meeting to be all about weekend soccer results or a funny story from home. Even disagreements tend to be aired out with tact and good humor. Fork and knife would plate lunch and breaks. When lunchtime hits, usually between 12 o'clock and 1 p.m., work takes a back seat. Lunch is a moment of pause, not a rushed sandwich at your desk. It's a chance to reset. Most people go out to a nearby cafe or a Quillo restaurant where you pay by the weight of your food. These places serve up the classic combo of rice, beans, grilled meat, salad, and perhaps farofa, toasted cassava flour. Others bring homemade meals, lovingly prepared by a partner, parent, or even themselves, reflecting the Brazilian love for home-cooked food. Mealtime is often shared, and it's common to invite a colleague along, even spontaneously. Either way, it's a real meal, with real time. A full hour is the norm, sometimes more in smaller cities or workplaces with flexible culture. Lunch is sacred. People rarely eat alone unless by choice, and the time is used to talk, to recharge, and to momentarily forget the pressures of the job. And afterward? A short stroll around the block, a few deep breaths outdoors, a quick call to a loved one, or even a power nap if they're working from home. Some even take time for a dessert, like brigadeiro or fresh fruit, or grab another coffee before returning to the desk. Coffee breaks are frequent and beloved, not just for the caffeine, but for the social ritual. Every few hours, someone will say coffee, and suddenly there's a small gathering around the kitchen, sharing stories, gossip, or laughter. It's these mini moments that keep energy flowing through the day. 5 o'clock end of the workday. The workday usually wraps up around 6 or 7 p.m. And while overtime does happen, especially in industries like finance, law, or media, most people strive for balance. Staying late isn't a badge of honor here. In fact, it's often seen as a sign that something's off, poor planning, maybe bad management. The goal isn't to live at work, but to get work done, and then live. Managers tend to respect that boundary, and coworkers won't expect instant replies after hours. In many offices, the mood starts shifting around 5:30, a reminder that the day is wrapping up and life is waiting outside. In Brazil, you work to live, not the other way around. Cityscape at dusk evening life. Evenings in Brazil are alive in every sense of the word. Some head straight to the gym or a soccer match with friends. Others meet up for a chop, cold draft beer, at the local bar or grab a caipirinha near the beach. Music spills onto the streets. Food stalls sizzle with grilled cheese and pastéis. Neighborhood squares come to life. In cities like Rio, people go for a sunset walk on the sand before heading home. In Sao Paulo, rooftop bars fill up with laughter and conversation. In smaller towns, friends gather on porches or at local cafes. For many, dinner is a family affair, lively, noisy, full of stories and jokes. Even in small apartments, there's music, laughter, and the smell of food. Brazilian households often eat late, around 8 or 9 p.m., and meals stretch on with conversation. The day ends not with exhaustion, but with connection. Evenings are for joy, not recovery. Performing arts, cultural traits, and surprises. Hierarchy feels horizontal. People respect their managers but communicate directly and informally. Jokes, warmth, and even disagreements are handled face-to-face, often with a smile. Leadership is based more on charisma and trust than strict authority. Dress codes are relaxed. Unless you're in a very formal corporate setting, jeans and a clean shirt will do. In creative or tech fields, even t-shirts and sneakers are fine. And personal style is celebrated, not suppressed. Bright colors, accessories, and individuality are welcome. What surprises outsiders most? The emotional openness, even at work. Colleagues hug. People talk about their feelings. Expressing frustration, joy, or even sadness isn't taboo, it's natural. There's less pressure to put on a professional mask. You show up as a human being first, and a worker second. Brazil's work culture may not run like clockwork, but it runs on connection, community, and a deep love for life. Next up, we'll see how things look on the other side of the spectrum, where time is sacred, rules are respected, and efficiency is a national value. Ready to experience a day in Germany? Morning. In Germany, the morning begins with structure. Most people wake up early, around 6:30 or 7 a.m., and start their day with quiet efficiency. There's little room for delay. Alarms ring, blinds roll up automatically, and routines kick in with almost mechanical precision. Many Germans lay out their clothes the night before, and their breakfast table is already set when they enter the kitchen. Breakfast is simple but substantial. A slice of dense rye bread or Braten crispy rolls, with cheese, cold cuts, or jam. Maybe a soft-boiled egg. And of course, coffee, strong and black. Some prefer tea or orange juice, and in winter, warm herbal infusions are common. Mornings are calm and focused, often accompanied by the newspaper or a quiet radio station. In German homes, silence is respected. You won't hear loud music or chaotic chatter. Even among families with children, there's an unspoken understanding that the morning is a time to prepare, not perform. Parents help kids get ready for school with gentle reminders, not rushed shouts. Everything is planned. Bags are packed the night before. Breakfast is served and finished on time. Shoes are lined up neatly by the door. There's a rhythm, steady and predictable. Bicycle commute. Punctuality is part of the national identity, and the commute reflects that. Whether by bike, train, tram, or car, the journey is calculated to the minute. In cities like Berlin, Munich, or Hamburg, public transportation is not only widespread but also deeply reliable. U-Bahn and S-Bahn trains are clean, timely, and well integrated with buses and trams. People trust the system. Cycling is hugely popular, especially in cities like Munster or Freiburg. Dedicated bike lanes make it a practical and eco-friendly choice, and it's not unusual to see professionals in suits on two wheels. Helmets on, baskets loaded, navigating the morning streets with quiet confidence. During the commute, people keep to themselves. Public transport is eerily quiet, no loud phone calls, no chatting. Most travelers wear headphones, read books, check emails, or simply enjoy the silence. Personal space is sacred. Eye contact is minimal. It's a silent ritual of transition from the private world into the professional one. In winter, commutes are met with stoic resilience. Coats zipped up, scarves wrapped tightly, footsteps quick. In spring and summer, windows are open, birds chirp, and bikes crowd the streets again. Adult briefcase start of the workday. Work usually begins at 8 o'clock or 9 a.m. And when it begins, it really begins. There's little tolerance for lateness. Arriving at 9:05 may raise an eyebrow. Being on time is not just polite, it's expected. The office itself tends to reflect German values: clean, efficient, and uncluttered. Open spaces are common, but not chaotic. Noise is kept low. Desks are neat. Some teams begin the day with a short stand-up meeting to align priorities, while others go straight into focused work. There's a deep respect for individual concentration. Chatting about personal life happens, but only in brief, intentional pauses, not as a background hum. When someone wears headphones, it's a sign not to interrupt. When someone's door is closed, you knock. Meetings are structured and purposeful. They start on time, stick to the agenda, and end on time. Preparation is key. People arrive knowing what they want to say and expecting you to be equally prepared. Efficiency is not just a goal, it's a point of pride. Hierarchy exists, but it doesn't dominate. Managers are often approachable, but boundaries are clear. Decisions are made through logic, not charisma. Promotions come through proven performance, not relationships. Coffee is present, yes, but it's practical, not ceremonial. Usually enjoyed alone or in pairs, in small quiet kitchen areas. There's no group coffee ritual like in Brazil, just a moment of recharge before the next task. Fork and knife would plate lunch and breaks. Lunchtime comes around noon and is efficient. Many companies have on-site cafeterias offering hearty meals: schnitzel with potatoes, seasonal soups, grilled vegetables, pasta, or regional dishes like Maltaschen in the South. Others bring lunch from home, neatly packed containers of sandwiches, salads, or leftover pasta. German kitchens in the workplace are tidy, with labeled food shelves, clean microwaves, and organized trash systems. Lunch lasts 30 to 45 minutes. Some take a full hour if the company culture allows, but it's rarely longer. Meals are eaten calmly, no rushing, but also no lingering. After lunch, a short stroll around the block or a trip to the local bakery for a sweet pastry is common. but breaks are brief. Mid-morning and mid-afternoon breaks, often called pause, are sometimes built into the schedule, especially in more traditional offices. It's a time to have a coffee, maybe a biscuit, and briefly step away from the screen. But again, it's quiet. Even in break rooms, voices are low, conversations are purposeful. Smoking, though less common today, is still practiced by some, always outside, in marked areas, sometimes with a designated shelter. 5 o'clock end of the workday. Work typically ends between 5 o'clock and 6 p.m., depending on the company and industry. And once the workday is over, it's over. Germans are not fans of performative overtime. If you regularly stay late, it could be seen as poor time management or lack of efficiency. Work contracts clearly outline hours, and many offices operate under Gleitzeit, flexible working hours, allowing employees to choose their start and end times within certain limits. As long as core hours are covered and tasks are completed, autonomy is encouraged. Email culture reflects this boundary. It's rare to receive or respond to work emails late at night or on weekends. Some companies even use tools that automatically delay sending emails outside working hours. The line between professional and personal time is strong. Work is work. Life is life. And both deserve full attention. Cityscape at dusk evening life. Evenings in Germany are tranquil but fulfilling. After work, people head to the gym, go for a run, or do errands. Grocery shopping is a common weekday task, and supermarkets are busiest between 6 and 7 p.m. Dinner, Abendbrot, is usually simple and cold, slices of bread with cheese, meats, pickles, and salad. It's eaten early, around 6:30 or 7 p.m., often with the family. For those who live alone, it's a quiet moment to unwind, maybe paired with the evening news or a favorite TV show. Socializing happens, but it's planned. A dinner invitation is made days in advance. Friends meet at local beer gardens or cozy pubs, but the mood is relaxed, not rowdy. Small talk turns into deep discussion. Laughter is warm, but controlled. Evenings are also a time for hobbies, reading, music, woodworking, gardening, or board games. Germans take leisure seriously, not as distraction, but as restoration. Even a walk around the block is done with purpose and mindfulness. Sunday evenings, in particular, are sacred, a time for family, rest, or preparing for the week ahead. Shops are closed. Streets are quiet. There's a stillness that feels earned. Performing arts, cultural traits, and surprises. Boundaries matter. Germans distinguish sharply between colleagues and friends. Relationships take time. You don't share your personal life on day one. But once trust is built, it lasts. Precision is social respect. Being on time shows that you value others. Punctuality isn't just about efficiency, it's about reliability. What surprises outsiders most? The quiet. Offices, transport, even social spaces are often quieter than in other countries. It can feel cold at first, but beneath the silence is a strong culture of respect, honesty, and personal freedom. Germany's work culture is built on structure, respect, and quiet pride. It may seem rigid at first, but it offers something powerful: clarity, boundaries, and peace of mind. Next, we'll put these two worlds side by side and see what happens when spontaneity meets precision. Now that we've walked through a full working day in both Brazil and Germany, let's compare, not to judge, but to reflect. Each country offers a unique rhythm of life, and where one person sees chaos, another sees creativity. Where one feels peace, another may feel pressure. Let's break it down. Mantelpiece clock, wake-up time, and morning rituals. In Germany, most people wake up early, 6:30 or 7 a.m., and follow a structured routine. Mornings are quiet, efficient, and predictable. In Brazil, the day starts later, often around 7:30 or 8 a.m., and unfolds more slowly. There's warmth, music, and a sense of ease. Contrast, Germany begins with discipline and solitude. Brazil with flow and social energy. Motorway commute. Germany, punctual, efficient, often silent. Public transport and bike lanes are reliable and clean. People respect space and routine. Brazil, crowded, unpredictable, full of life. Traffic is common, but the mood is often light. Commuters chat, listen to music, or daydream. Contrast, Germany values structure and control. Brazil embraces movement and spontaneity. Adult briefcase work environment. Germany, quiet offices, clear boundaries, high concentration. Tasks are handled with discipline and directness. Meetings follow strict agendas. Brazil, lively atmosphere, emotional openness, and formal communication. Offices feel social, and work flows with a mix of flexibility and warmth. Contrast. In Germany, work is serious and sharply defined. In Brazil, work is part of a human experience. Green salad lunch and breaks. Germany. 30 to 45 minutes, often quick and quiet. Shared kitchens are clean and organized. Personal space is respected and silence is welcome. Brazil. 1 to 2 hours, often outside the office or shared with colleagues. Meals are hearty, relaxed, and social. Coffee breaks are mini celebrations. Contrast. German breaks are functional. Brazilian breaks are about recharging through connection. Hourglass and overtime and boundaries. Germany. Strong work-life boundaries. Overtime is avoided or compensated. Personal time is respected. Brazil. Some overtime occurs, but balance is valued. People are flexible, and work can extend into life naturally. Contrast. Germany draws a strict line between work and life. Brazil blends the two more organically. Cityscape at dusk evenings. Germany. Calm, predictable, and planned. Time for family, hobbies, and rest. Quiet public spaces. Brazil. Vibrant, social, spontaneous. Bars, beaches, and gatherings with music and laughter. Contrast. Germany's evenings offer peace and control. Brazil's offer passion and presence. Necktie attitudes toward hierarchy and dress code. Germany. Respect for titles, formality and greetings, and minimal emotional display and leadership. Brazil. Warmth and humor in relationships, horizontal hierarchy, and emotional engagement even with superiors. Contrast. German workplaces are structured and formal. Brazilian ones are fluid and emotionally rich. Light bulb so. Where's it better? That depends on you. If you crave clarity, boundaries, and independence, Germany might feel like home. If you thrive on warmth, connection, and flexibility, Brazil might feed your soul. One culture says, time is money. The other says, time is life. This isn't about which country is better. It's about what kind of rhythm you want in your everyday life. The real question is, what kind of energy do you want to start and end your day with?